Chicago is known for creating legends. But what a lot of people don't know is that three of the city's biggest rap icons are buried just minutes away from each other. Juice WRLD, King Von, Fredo Santana. Different eras, different styles, different stories. Yet in death, they rest almost side by side. This isn't a coincidence most fans notice, and once you hear the full story, it hits different. All three rappers are buried in the Chicago area, specifically in cemeteries located only a few minutes apart. Fans who've visited one grave often realize something shocking. If you drive just a short distance, you'll find another legend. This has led many people to ask, why are they so close? Was this planned? Is there a deeper meaning? To understand this, you have to understand Chicago, family decisions, and legacy. Juice WRLD, born Jared Higgins, grew up in Homewood, Illinois, just south of Chicago. When Juice passed away in 2019, his family chose to bury him close to home, somewhere private, peaceful, and meaningful. His burial location wasn't about rap politics. It wasn't about image. It was about family, roots, and where he came from. Juice wasn't chasing street fame. He was a kid who loved music, emotion, and expression, so his resting place reflects that. King Von was different. Born Davon Bennett, Von came from O Block, one of the most talked-about neighborhoods in Chicago history. Von didn't just rap about the streets, he lived them, survived them, and told their stories. When Von passed in 2020, his family also chose to bury him in the Chicago area. Not for symbolism, not for fans, but because this was home. Chicago made Von, and Chicago is where he was laid to rest, before Juice WRLD, before King Von. There was Fredo Santana. Fredo was one of the original faces of Chicago drill and a close cousin of Chief Keef. He helped open doors for the sound that later artists, including Von, would walk through. When Fredo passed in 2018, he was also buried nearby. Again, not because of planning, but because Chicago is where his story started. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Chicago doesn't have dozens of major cemeteries that families choose from. Most families select burial locations based on family plots, religious ties, accessibility, privacy, cost, safety from vandalism. When you narrow all that down, you end up with the same few cemeteries being chosen over and over. That's why these legends are so close. Not because of conspiracy, not because of industry planning, but because Chicago families bury their loved ones close to home. Even if it wasn't planned, the symbolism is powerful. Three artists, three generations, three different paths, all shaped by the same city. Juice represented emotion and vulnerability. Von represented raw street storytelling. Fredo represented the foundation of drill. Together, they tell the full story of Chicago hip-hop. That's why fans travel to these graves. That's why videos about them go viral. That's why this feels deeper than coincidence. Chicago gives the world talent, but it also takes a lot back. These graves are reminders of how fast fame can come, how real the streets still are, and how short life can be, minutes apart, but connected forever. If you didn't know this before, now you do. Three legends, one city, resting just minutes away from each other. Comment if you respect their legacy. Subscribe if you want more real Chicago stories. And let me know in the comments, who had the biggest impact on Chicago rap? Juice, Von, or Fredo?